Hello and welcome back to another video. I have in my lion head cup here a mulled spiced tea. So it's pretty much like mulled spiced wine but tea form. And I've got my giant oversized Oudéon. It's got cats on it as well, of course, because it's now end of November and yeah, it's cold. It's getting very cold now. We are swiftly moving into winter. So because we're at the end of November, it does mean that it's time for a November wrap-up video. So I'm going to just show you all of the books that I read in November, what I rated them, what I thought of them, and yeah, I'm going to basically show you those. There were 8 books that I finished in November. 6 of them were for reading vlogs. So if you've seen my other videos, then you probably know my full thoughts. Can't get words out. I've got both cats here milling around. I'm just making sure they're not getting up to any mischief. Let's put this down. Let's crack on with the wrap up. Show you the books I've read. Leo. So this is what happens. Let's try to start filming. It's coming up to where it's near their dinner time, and so they start messing around. So first of all, I did Reading 3 Cozy Mysteries. I read these 3, and it's The Appeal by Janice Hallett, The Golden Spoon by Jessica Maxwell, and Death of a Policeman by MC Beaton. So first of all, we have MC Beaton's Death of a Policeman. I gave this 2.5 stars. So let me explain why. This is meant to be a cozy mystery. Well, it is a cozy mystery anyway, regardless of my rating. MC Beaton is known for cozy mysteries. She is the author of the Agatha Raisin series, and this is the other one, which is Hamish Macbeth series. And in this, we are basically set in the Scottish Highlands, so I absolutely loved the setting. For me though, the writing style was just, it was just not for me. So the reason why I ended up giving this not a high rating is because of the writing style. And I kind of feel like you can probably hear the cats running around. Yeah, I'm basically just getting distracted by cats. Right, so with this one, let's say what it's about. Okay, so in here we are seeing a lot of the police force, like a lot of the police stations in Scotland getting closed down. And so Detective Chief Inspector Blair takes this as his opportunity to get rid of Sergeant Hamish Macbeth, who he dislikes. So he enrolls Cyril Sessions, who is this young police officer, to basically go and spy and report back that he's not doing any work to basically get Hamish Macbeth sacked. So anyway, Hamish Macbeth figures out this plan. So he decides that he's going to stop Cyril from doing this. But then Cyril ends up dead. He's murdered, and Hamish Macbeth is the #1 suspect. So the setting was spot on. I loved the setting in this. And I just kind of feel like the writing, I just could not get into it at all. So I ended up giving this only 2.5 stars, which I was really disappointed about because I thought I was going to love MC Beaton. She was going to be up there with Agatha Christie, in my opinion. And I ended up, yeah, just not loving it. So that was a bit of a bummer, but yes, it is what it is. And then, I've got books around me. The Golden Spoon by Jessica Maxwell. So this is British Bake Off with a murder. For me, I ended up giving this 3.5 stars because I just kept picturing it being set in Britain, in England. It's very British style to me. Obviously it's a take on the British Bake Off. The main character in this, Betsy Martin, she owns the estate and this manor house, and she runs this bake off with 6 contestants that live in a house with her once a year, and it's all on the TV. She just was Mary Berry, and I kind of feel like this would have been so much better if it was set in England, because for me the characters just seemed British. Everything just seemed very British about it, and I just could not get my head around the fact that this was set in the US. I did really enjoy the story though, but there was a lot of like eye roll moments. There was a lot of cliche moments, very coincidental. Certain times I just thought, well, I mean, that wouldn't happen. It just, yeah. So it wasn't a wow book for me, but I did really enjoy it. And I think if you absolutely love the British Bake Off and you absolutely love your cozy mysteries, then you will love this. And then I read The Appeal by Janice Hallett. This is a multi-format book. So you're reading emails, text messages, all of the correspondence between all the community in this very small, very tight-knit town. And someone has been murdered, and one of the members of this town in this small community is the murderer. And we have all of the email correspondence, all of that between each of the people in this town. And we have it as well as 2 law students. They also have this correspondence. So we are basically sifting through all these emails as well as these law students. Does that make sense? So yeah, you're basically figuring it out for yourself. It does say on here, 1 murder, 15 suspects, can you uncover the truth? So you're basically looking through all the emails and working it out for yourself. Obviously, we do see the text correspondence between the 2 law students, so it does all get revealed to you if you don't figure it out. But I just thought it was so much fun, and I loved the multi-format, throughout. I just, all of the emails and letters and things like that, I absolutely loved. So I ended up thoroughly enjoying this, having a lot of fun, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I then read a book that was set in the Brecon Beacons whilst I was staying in the cabin at the Brecon Beacons. I chose Do Not Disturb by Claire Douglas. She's quite a well-known author actually. Probably Local Girl Missing, Last Seen Alive, 2 well-known books that she has done. And this one is basically following Kirsty. Her and her family are living in London and something happens to them there. So she decides to move the family to the Brecon Beacons and open up a guest house with the help of her mum. Now their first guest is Selena, who is her cousin, who she hasn't seen since she was about 18, and her disabled daughter. And they come to stay. And there's a lot of secrets about, how they fell out. There's a lot of family secrets between Kirsty and her husband anyway, and there's a lot of family drama, basically. And there is a body that's found at the bottom of the stairs, and they're quite sure it's murder. So we kind of have like this murder mystery, and it could have been one of the guests at the guest house. So yeah, I don't know, I did really enjoy it. I did love like the reveals, like all the secrets coming out about the family. I just enjoyed that side of things very much so. I gave this 4 stars. I kind of feel like the fact that it was set really near to the cabin where I was actually staying, I was able to like picture everything. I knew what, the descriptions were because, I could proper visualize it because I've seen it for myself. So I really liked that. And I think I definitely will be reading books set in areas that I'm staying in the future. So yeah, I did thoroughly enjoy this one as well, and would definitely recommend it. I didn't expect the killer to be who they were at all. I did not see it coming. So that was a big shocker. Very good twist. I also read, I did a reading vlog where I read Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the second book in the Fourth Wing series. It's a chunky one. So Fourth Wing, I cannot fault that book at all. I absolutely loved that book. There's no negatives in my opinion. It was 5 stars, thought it was brilliant. This book, on the other hand, you definitely feel the length of it. I kind of feel like there was a massive chunk of this book that was not needed. And the relationship side of the story was very much will they, won't they. And I kind of got a bit bored of that. But the last third of the book would have been 5 stars. Last third. I ended up giving overall 4.5 stars to this book. So I did love it. I did thoroughly enjoy it. I just didn't love it as much as Fourth Wing. And I'm hoping that's not going to be seen through the rest of the series where it's like half a star point down. And yeah, I mean, it must be very difficult to have the success of Fourth Wing and match it with your follow-up books. but I did thoroughly enjoy this. I would definitely recommend. Obviously, if you don't know what Fourth Wing is, we're basically following Violet. She has like this disability where it affects her joints and muscles. So when she ends up going into the widest quadrant at this academy, you kind of expect her to not do very well because she's kind of seen as like weak. But you then see this character just blossom, and you see her determination to not only survive the first year, but to become like the best dragon rider. So obviously you have your dragons, you have a romance, you're following this fantastic character. Like, you cannot fault Violet's character at all in the first book or the second book. I love her character. It's very character driven, these books, and I kind of feel like that's what I love the most about these books, this series, is it's just the characters. They are absolutely superb. So I would 100% recommend Fourth Wing, without a doubt. This book was, yeah, it was okay. The lighting is really bad, so it's making me, it looks like I've got no teeth. Here's the shadows. I do apologise. Yeah, no, but what I was saying is that I would definitely recommend Fourth Wing, and I did really enjoy this. It was a 4.5 star read for me. And then I did a reading vlog where, wrong way around, where I tried to solve an Agatha Christie before Poirot did the big reveal. And I read 3-act tragedy for this. This one is basically Sir Charles Cartwright. He's a distinguished actor. He's holding this massive party at his lavish house. And at the party, everyone's sipping cocktails. And then we have Reverend Stephen Babington. He kind of drops down dead, and he has been poisoned by one of these cocktails. And obviously anyone at that party could be the killer. So it's obviously a closed room mystery because it is Agatha Christie. But what we don't realise is that a few months later, there's another party with the same people and someone else gets killed. So then we realise it's a serial killer, because the first murder was kind of brushed aside as it could have just been, health reasons. So it kind of doesn't get really looked into by the police or by Poirot. I kind of feel like Poirot just does not appear hardly at all in this book, which I kind of felt was a bit odd. But we kind of just see it all from the point of view of one of the guests, Mr. Satterthwaite, isn't it? I think it's his point of view. Yeah, we just see it from his point of view the whole time throughout this book, which I also thought was a bit odd. But I did still really enjoy this. And no, I didn't. I did not guess who it was. At the beginning of the book, after the first murder, I kind of was like, oh, it's this person. And I ended up just throwing that assumption out of the window and being like, oh no, it could be him or her. And yeah, I think every single character was a suspect at some point as I was going through this book, in my opinion. So yeah, I didn't win it, and I kind of didn't really understand why it was the killer was who it was, but I still enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I had pages and pages written in my notebook trying to figure it out, and yeah, Agatha Christie won on that one. But I just really enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 stars. I then read 2 books which I didn't include in any reading vlogs. First one being The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman, which is which one is it? It's the 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club series, which is a series I absolutely love. I just think it's superb, I really do. And I would definitely recommend this series, especially if you love your cozy mysteries. So instead of it being a detective trying to figure out the crimes, we've got 4 elderly retired people living in this retirement village, and because they've got nothing else to do, they have all these cold cases that they try and solve. And I just think it's so sweet. Like, it's a very nice, concept. I think it's a completely different concept to what we usually see in these crime fiction detective stories. So I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the series. I just think it's lovely, and I in particular love the character of Joyce. So every so often we'll see her point of view via diary extracts throughout the story, and I just think she's an amazing character. I really do. So yeah, it's very character driven, this book. Absolutely love it. Definitely would recommend this series. I think it's brilliant. So I gave it 4.5 stars. And then lastly, I just finished it today, look at this cover. The cover is absolutely superb. Read this in October near Halloween. I just, yeah, 100% recommend reading this in October. It's The Faraway People by Stacey Dighton. The author actually approached me and said, asked if I would read it and review it. I absolutely loved this. Okay, if you love your creepy cults, if you love a bit of supernatural, if you love family drama, and if you love, you know, organised crime lords with undercover cops trying to take down these criminals, it's got all four of those in here basically. It's got a lot going on, but it all works. It all works. So we follow this family. It's Hattie and her husband Richard. It's Richard's son from previous relationship, Jono, who's 15. It's their 5-year-old daughter, Sally Ann. There's also Bea, who is Hattie's sister, and then Bea's partner, Rachel. They all basically go to stay in this cottage in Cornwall, which is pretty much like an Airbnb. And it's in this very small hamlet where there's in like 5 other cottages. And they've got their private beach. It's all very nice and idyllic. But then they realise that these neighbours that they have now, they're all part of a cult. And a very weird cult. But not only that, there are these like weird creatures, these that live in the forest that are connected to the cult. And there's just some weird stuff that goes on in this book. It's not for the faint-hearted. Stacey Dighton does not shy away from the gore and the gruesome, grisly details. Let's put it that way. It's very grisly. It's very gory. I just thought it was absolutely superb. I really did. I just think, yeah. So I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't a 5-star read for me purely because one of the tropes, one of the storylines, I kind of felt like it wasn't necessarily needed in a way, and I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't like a 5-star wow, blow me my mind kind of read, but it was a read that I would highly recommend, and I just really enjoyed. I think it's probably one of the most creepiest books I've ever read. It's not probably, it is one of the most creepiest books I've ever read. It's very unsettling, and there's almost like this claustrophobic feeling as I was reading this. I was very unsettled, let's put it that way, whilst reading this book. It was, yeah, quite terrifying actually in parts, I must admit. Very tense, especially the second half is very tense. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Definitely recommend it. I mean, read it any time of the year, but I think Halloween would be absolutely superb reading this book. I really do. So it's definitely going on my horror shelf. And it's definitely up there as one of the most creepiest, horrifying books I've ever read. So yeah, it was superb, really. It was a good reading month. It really was. 8 books, 6 of them being for reading vlogs. Let's go through them from lowest to highest rating. So lowest, 2.5 stars, was Death of a Policeman by MC Beaton. 3.5 stars with The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. 4 stars was Do Not Disturb by Claire Douglas. Also 4 stars is The Faraway People by Stacey Dighton. Also 4 stars is 3 Act Tragedy by Agatha Christie. 4.5 stars was The Appeal by Janice Hallett. 4.5 again was Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. And also 4.5 was The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. My favourite book of the month is probably going to be Iron Flame. And obviously the least favourite is obviously going to be the MC Beaton book, Death of a Policeman. But yeah, thoroughly good reading month. Fully enjoyed all of these reads. It was very much all of the cozy mysteries, apart from obviously the last one that I read, which the author sent me. But yeah, all books I thoroughly enjoyed, would recommend. And yeah, those are all the books that I read in November. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.